treat your wallet like a woman treats her pussy. I am going to begin this story by assuming that you, the reader, already realize that the woman holds a lot of power when it comes to her pussy and all of her sexuality that surrounds her pussy. And there are a lot of men who will go ahead and do what a woman asks of him for no other reason except that she's a female. Even if you aren't even fucking a woman and she's just your friend, you are still willing to do shit for her due to that old bullshit code of chivalry. You all know that code that has you taking out her trash or killing a bug for her or some shit like that. Well, I'm not saying that a man shouldn't be chivalrous. However, I think that we men need to start taking back our power and realizing that our wallets have just as much, if not more power than a woman's pussy. You see, it's the money that makes a woman use her pussy for what she needs to get. It all started way back in Africa in the beginning of human history. A village girl needed a man to provide meat and yams in a hut and shit like that to make a good living. And in return, the little African village girl had to give up some of the jungle snatch. That's just the way it was. She traded the snatch for the yams. In every culture I can think of, it's the man's job to do all of the hard and physical shit and go through all of the manhood rituals and kill lions and shit like that all so that he could get him some young village pussy. And it was the little village girl's job to smear the animal fat and chalk and paint and pierce their lips and stretch them to unreasonable sizes and let their little perky African boobies bounce in the hot sun because it's what the men liked. I've been to Africa and down there you don't have to go through the bullshit. If you have the money, you're gonna get you a wife. Just go to one of the villages and get to know somebody, and if you let it be known that you're trying to buy you a girl or two, I guarantee you within a week these girls' parents will be parading their daughters up to you and begging you to buy their daughter. I could have given the parents $1,000 American and I can walk off with a young virgin African girl to marry and pop out as many kids as I wanted. She would keep her mouth shut and do what the fuck I tell her to do. She'll stay her ass in the house and bend over to let you tap that ass anytime you want to. If she even thinks of talking back, you can slap the living shit out of her and you won't have Brad and Johnny White Boy cops knocking at your door and dragging you off to jail for it. Down in Nigeria, the black man is the king. But there's a price. Now your little village girl is going to do what you say and she won't say shit if you decide to take on other wives, but the man must be handling all of the financial responsibilities of the household. And there isn't any of that 50-50th shit. The man must provide for the wife and kids 100 and do it consistently. A nigga can't sit on the couch and play PlayStation and maybe work part-time cleaning toilets and expect to have the woman doing everything for him. In Africa, they don't play that shit. If you aren't handling your household affairs, you're not a man. Period. And your wife will be running around behind your back and fucking other men. I've seen how it is with my own two eyes. I am not making any of this shit up. I like how it worked in Nigeria. The man was the man and the woman was the woman, and she knew her fucking place and the man knew what his responsibilities were. As long as a man paid the bills, nobody cared if he ran around on his wife and fucked all the whores he wanted. He could have all the wives he wanted. All the servants that he wanted to fuck in the kitchen when the wife isn't around. The black man is king in Nigeria, and I'm sure that the culture is the same in most of West Africa. But the problem with us African Americans is that we experienced slavery. Our ancestors were living the good life back in the day and living the same way in the villages that they are living today. The man got to get all of the pussy he wanted and the women got to exchange their pussy and sell it to the highest bidder, husband. But that got all fucked up when we got to America because we lost control over our own relationships with one another. Since our slave ancestors' parents and children were often separated and sold, we evolved in a culture where we had to learn to get over long separations from family members and knowing that they may never see their mother or child or father or brother again ever in their miserable lives, and they had to push on with life while massa kept that whip on their backs. So now it's all fucked up with the black community. However, those basic principles of a woman selling her pussy to the highest bidder still lasted. So instead of like in pre-slavery Africa days where the woman could sell her body to a local African man who has proven himself worthy to be able to afford her, she ended up having to sell her body to the white slave master in order to get ahead and hopefully gain either a spot working in the house, or at least get some better cuts of meat off of the hog to feed her kids. Or she would have to fuck the slave master just so that master wouldn't sell her kids out from under her, which leads us up into present times. And for the record, let me say that us black people shouldn't be quick to blame slavery for our fucked up problems right now. There was a time where niggas stood together and tried to change shit. I don't know anybody today that would be willing to go out in the streets and let themselves to be water hosed and bitten by police dogs to promote any cause. And one quick thing about Martin Luther King. Nah, fuck it. That will be another story that I'll write one day. But anyway, it's currently 2004 and about to be 2005 at the time of me writing this article, and us Negroes now know better. Back to the host. My whole point of what I just said was to come around to my theory of why black American girls act the way they do with their pussy. They think that their sheet is made of platinum or something, and that there aren't thousands of other girls just like them giving up the same or better quality of pussy for a cheaper price and with less hassle. It just takes time for the men to shift through all of the dumb heifers to find them, but they're there. Now I see nothing wrong with a woman giving up her pussy for as much benefit as she can get. But I can also see the man making sure that he gets as much value for his dollar. Meaning that if the man doesn't think that he's going to get any pussy soon, or whatever benefit that he feels that he should be getting from a woman, he should dump that woman like a bad habit and save on his money and his attention that he pays to a particular woman. See, it's a simple formula for the way it is with women and men. Women want a man to spend money on her and give her his attention. Men will spend money and give attention to a woman in return for sex. That single quote is it. That's the whole complex realm of relationships boiled all the way down to two simple sentences. A woman wants money and attention, and a man wants sex. And it doesn't even have to be sex from the particular woman. Most men are willing to take one of her girlfriends that she'll introduce to him. Or maybe the woman will just give him a blowjob or a hand job in return for $20. There are all kinds of variations on it, but it's still the same thing. But the problem lies in that most men don't realize that a woman needs him more than he needs a woman. As long as the man has some money to spend, he's the customer. And we all know that the customer is always right. A man can go and spend his time and money on another woman if his current woman is fucking up, and as long as a man has money to spend, there will always be a woman around who wants you to spend it on her. I've seen a lot of old men in my neighborhood. They retired from the factory jobs from back in the day when people made $20 an hour to push a button all day. They have a nice fat pension and a social security check. Their kids are all grown and their wife either left him or she's dead. So that means that this old man doesn't really have anybody to spend his money on, and that's where these begging ass women come in. And I mean, these girls are brought up to beg. Their mamas and their grandmamas was always taking money from a man in return for a little shuck and jive, so that's how they are doing it today. But the problem is that there aren't any easy high-paying jobs to employ the majority of the population like it was back then. Welfare was generous back then. So back in the day, a woman could sell her tail, have a couple of sugar daddies, and work a half-assed job and still live comfortably. It ain't like that today. Now it's the time where a man's wallet is the new pussy. It's the time where a man needs to treat his wallet like a woman treats her pussy. He can't spread it for just anybody. He can't let just anybody dip into it. He needs to make sure that he gets to know a woman before he gives up his goodies. So I am now declaring the 21st century the century of the trick. For some of you white folks reading this, a trick is a black slang term for what y'all could call a John. But with black folks, being a trick takes it to a whole new level and expands it into a whole plethora of categories and situations. In the black community, a trick is the nigga who uses whatever job he has to get ahead. He can be a cable TV installer and use his ability to hook up illegal cable to get with the young honeys who will give him a little pity pat to get all of the HBO and Cinemax channels for free. It's the manatee chick who will let a girl's raggedy ass car pass the emissions test in exchange for a little something something. It's the barber who will cut Lil Man's hair for free in exchange for some of Lil Man's mama's big booty later on that night. There's all kinds of things a man has to do in hopes of getting some pussy. However, since we don't live in utopia, a lot of the time a man won't get any pussy at all and he'll get caught in the tricky trap. It's a state of mind where the man knows that he's losing but he keeps wanting to put money in hoping to hit the jackpot. It's like the Ricky trap is the ultimate state of mind that a woman wants you to be in. She wants you to keep putting coins into the slot machine and not even caring if you ever get to pay out. She wants to hook you on the thrill of the gamble. Once she has you in the trap, all she has to do is enjoy the money while you enjoy the frustration of not getting any pussy. This Ricky trap is the trap that most men fall in with a woman and they stay in the trap forever. They never get to experience the power of their wallets and using it to get what they want. So I'm about to tell you how you can harness your power to the point to where you have the women chasing you in your wallet, rather than you chasing their pussy with your wallet. And keep in mind, what I'm about to tell you is not a technique it's a mindset and a philosophy that you have to accept for it to work. The first thing you need to do is to let these hoes know that you're the person in control and that the woman needs you and not the other way around. You have to make sure that they know that you don't give a rat's ass whether or not you get some pussy from them. If they think you're pressed for the pussy, you won't get anywhere. I'm not saying that you have to act like you don't want the pussy at all because that would be fake. What you want to do is make sure that the girl knows that you would like to have the pussy. However, if she isn't willing to give you what you want within a reasonable amount of time, you'll be forced to take your money and your attention and spend it on a female that is willing to give you what you want. So I'm about to give you a good line to use on a woman whenever she asks you for something that requires you to open your wallet and spend some money. It's a blunt statement and it may shock the woman, but it will let her know immediately that you're not playing around with her bullshit. The next time a woman asks you for some money, you tell her this. Look baby, I treat my wallet like you treat your legs. I won't ask you to spread yours and you don't ask me to spread mine. It's as simple as that. Now I guarantee you that the girl is gonna get bug-eyed when you tell her this. And you are to tell her this with a straight face and don't say it in a rude way. Say it in a matter-of-fact way. Then you'll see exactly where this woman's intentions are. They'll show up as clear as day. She might even tell you to take a hike. And if she does tell you to fuck off, I want you as the man to be polite to her. Don't call her a bitch. Don't tell her that you can't do better than her. Don't do anything. Just be polite. Then you cut her off and you don't call her at all. If you can't avoid her because she works with you or goes to school with you, then you make sure that you are polite with her when you see her but never give her the time of day. All you do is give a polite hello and keep on moving. I know that it will be very hard at first for you to ignore a woman that you probably want to fuck the shit out of, but there's a science in this. Say you want to get with a woman and she turns you down. But instead of being polite, you are rude to her. It may piss her off right then, but it will still give the woman the satisfaction that her pussy was able to piss you off and you as the man lost in the long run. If you try to totally ignore her and act cold towards her, that's doing nothing but giving off the fuck you body language. But if you're polite with her just enough but never giving her any other attention, it will do one of two things. She'll either go on about her business and never talk to you again, which is a good thing because you know that she was never interested in you in the first place and you didn't waste any of your time. Or the nonchalant attitude that you show towards her will drive her crazy and she will start doing things to get you to pay attention to her. And when I say that a woman wants attention, it doesn't have to be positive attention. A woman would rather have you cuss her out than totally ignore her. By cussing her out, you at least took the time out to pay enough attention to her to tell her to fuck off. Now what do you think it would do to that attention-starved female if you paid her no attention? That's when you had her. It would be even better to go off and spend some of your time and money on another woman and let it get back to her. Then she would be pissed off because you were spending money on another woman and not her. And this isn't a sexual thing at all. Sex doesn't have to be involved. This philosophy applies to platonic friends also. I have a platonic friend who I was pissed off with and I am still pissed off with. She started to feel like she was entitled to the things that I was doing for her. She would even complain if I found a female that I was spending time with, even though that other female would be giving me some ass and this particular woman wasn't, because we were platonic friends. It amazed me how she would get so upset if I would meet another woman. But now I see it clear as day. She was mad because I was spending my money and my attention on another woman. She even went to the point where she would be hating on the other girls and saying little sly shit about them. It was nothing but hate all the way. We had a big argument about some shit, and during that argument, she was talking how she could deal with other niggas who could do this and that for her and how she didn't have to pay for shit and yada yada. So I decided to let these other niggas do what she said they were doing. Little do you know, that girl keeps calling me and trying to get back in my good graces, but I'm not fucking with her because I knew the real deal all along. There were no other niggas doing shit for her. There were no other niggas that she was dealing with. I was the only true nigga that gave a fuck about her, while all of the other niggas didn't want to do shit but fuck her. Now she's realizing that I'm one of a kind and I'm the type of nigga that can't be replaced by your average motherfucker, but it's too late for her. I hope that she learns to deal with her other friends in a better manner, because she lost this one over some bullshit. This is the new millennium. The man with the wallet is the man who rules the jungle these days. You can't be the oldest, fattest man around, and if you have some bread, you will be getting more young pussy than the high school football captain. It makes no difference whether or not the girls like you for your personality, because they're only there to entertain you. These women make it known off the break that they are fucking you for your money, so you make sure that you make it known to that hoe that she had better provide some good customer service or you will be taking your dollars elsewhere. Don't be afraid to be antisocial. You can afford to be antisocial because you worked hard to earn your money, and the hoe that you're paying probably didn't even finish high school and is either broke or barely maintaining their lower working class status. And let me emphasize the being antisocial part. I'm serious. These women like it when you act like antisocial. You really have to not give a fuck about these women for them to want to be around you. If you start caring about them, they'll try to play you one way or the other, no matter how close you are to that woman. But if you don't give a fuck, the woman won't leave you alone and she will practically beg you for attention. That's all it's about. Money and attention. So if you don't want to talk to a female that's calling you all the time, you can either keep sending them to voicemail or you can pick up the phone and tell them to leave you the fuck alone. I guarantee you that they will do the exact opposite. You as the man are supposed to make the woman feel like it's a privilege to get you to open your wallet for them. Don't make it seem like it's a privilege for you to get them to spread their twit for you. Make it seem like you're paying for the twit and she better work the twit on you good and give you your money's worth, or that's the last dollar that you will ever spend on her. I single quote LL follow up this story from time to time with more stories of my experiences with women, but in the meantime, I want all of you men, no matter what color you are, and try your best to become the asshole that all women admire. Don't be so quick to open your wallet and make it known to the woman that she has to work for what she gets from you. Peace.